Hello students, myself Shubhangi Jadhav. Today I am going to teach you the fourth chapter of our chemistry subject, that is structure of atom. Now friends, this chapter is for 5 marks without option in the exam, while the weightage of this chapter is of 7 marks with option. So this chapter is important. Do you know the history of atom? The atom has been discovered by scientist Dalton. We know it, but the atom is known to us from 500 BC. ख्रिस्तपूर्व 500 वर्षापूर्वीपासून ॲटम आपल्याला माहिती आहे. तुम्हाला माहिती आहे की आपले इंडियन संत किंवा इंडियन फिलॉसॉफर महर्षी कनाद यांनी सुरुवातीला ॲटमचा उल्लेख केलेला आहे त्यांच्या ग्रंथामध्ये. या ॲटमला त्यांनी परमाणु असं नाव दिलं होतं. Maharshi Kanad have been said that the atom is the ultimate particle of the matter. The smallest ultimate particle of the matter was named as Parmanu by Maharshi Kanad, and nowadays this Parmanu is called as atom. This Parmanu word is the Sanskrit word. From this word actually the meaning of this word is the atom. After Kanad, so many Western scientists have also tried to describe the atom. The Western philosophers like Plato, Aristotle or Democritus, they have also believed that the matter is composed of small tiny particles, small or tiny indivisible particles, and they named that particles as the atom. Later on, in 1808, Dalton have given his famous theory known as Dalton's atomic theory, and in his theory he has been told us that the matter is made up of small indivisible particles, and he named that particles as the atom. Now this word atom has been derived from the Greek word atomio. Atomio is the Greek word. This word have been derived from the two words a and tomio. A means knot and tomio means cut. So atomio means uncuttable or non-cuttable, that is undivisible or cannot be divided, undivisible. So this word atom is derived from the word atomio, means undivisible. Here Dalton has been said that the atoms are the undivisible particles of the matter. Matter is made up of these indivisible particles, but the theory of Dalton have been survived only up to a century. Later on at the end of 19th century, so many experimental evidences have been proved that the atom is not indivisible, but it is divisible. It can be divided into again the smaller particles, and nowadays we know that small particles present in the atom that were named as electrons, protons and neutrons. So remember, atom is not indivisible, but it can be divided into 3 fundamental particles named as protons, electrons and neutrons. Now along these 3 fundamental particles, the atom also consists of the other particles named as pions, mesons, bosons, positrons, neutrinos, antiprotons, and so on. But the most important particles are only three, that is electrons, protons, and neutrons. These fundamental particles are also called as the subatomic particles of the atom. And I think you know the discovery of these three subatomic particles, and in this lecture I will tell you some of the properties of these subatomic particles. Now let's see the first particle, that is electron. You know that the electrons were discovered by scientist J.J. Thomson. In the 9th standard you have studied the Thomson's well-known cathode ray experiment. In this cathode ray experiment, he has found the ray of negatively charged particles in a discharge tube, and he named that rays as the cathode rays. And nowadays we know that cathode rays are nothing but the electrons, because that rays are having the negatively charged particles. So J.J. Thomson have been discovered the electrons. The symbol used to denote the electrons is E, small e. Here we are knowing that the electrons are negatively charged, but the absolute charge on the electron in units of Coulomb is given here. It is minus 1.6022 into 10 raised to minus 19. Though this charge is given in terms of Coulomb, actually we are taking the relative charge on electron as minus 1. Again, we know that the atom is so small that we cannot see it by our naked eyes, and in the atom the electrons are present, and therefore their mass is also very less. The mass of electron in kilogram is given here. This mass is 9.10938 into 10 raised to minus 31. The masses of subatomic particles is always given in terms of unified mass. You know, this unified mass is also written as atomic mass unit. So the mass of electron in atomic mass unit is given as 0.00054. This mass is so negligible that we consider that the approximate mass of electron is 0. Okay. Now let's see the next subatomic particle, that is proton. The protons were discovered by Ernst Rutherford. Here the name of the symbol for the proton used is small p. Again we know that the charge on proton is of same magnitude as the charge on electron, only there is a difference in their signs. The electrons are negatively charged while protons are positively charged particles. The charge on proton is plus 1.6022 into 10 raised to minus 19. Okay. Now the relative charge on the proton is considered as plus 1. Okay. Now let's see the mass of proton in terms of kilogram. This is 1.6726 into 10 raised to minus 27. This mass is given as 1.00727 unified mass. Since this mass is nearly equal to 1, we say that the approximate mass of proton is 1 unified mass. The third subatomic particle, that is neutron, it has been discovered by scientist James Chadwick. The symbol used to denote the neutrons is small n. These are the chargeless particles. There is no charge on the neutron, and therefore we say that the absolute charge on neutron is 0. Also their relative charge is 0. Again, the mass of neutrons is 1.67493 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram, while it is 1.00867 unified mass, that is AM. Again, this mass is nearly equal to 1, and hence we are saying that the approximate mass of neutron is 1. Thus, the electrons are negatively charged particles having mass 0. The protons are positively charged particles having mass 1, while the neutrons are chargeless particles again having mass 1. These properties of the subatomic particles are given in your textbook, but for this year, that is for 2020-21 academic year, these properties of these subatomic particles have been deleted from our syllabus. But you must know these properties, because these properties, that is these masses or charges, are applied in the next chapter, that is the nuclear chemistry, and therefore you must know these masses and charges present on the subatomic particles. Now let's see the discovery of structure of atom. Now we are going towards the structure of atom. You know that the different theories have been given by different scientists to describe the actual structure of atom. You have studied some of the theories at the lower standard, like the Thomson's theory or Rutherford's theory. You have studied the Thomson's atomic model and also the Rutherford's atomic model, which was given on the basis of the Rutherford's famous experiment that is named as alpha particle scattering experiment. I think you have studied this experiment at the lower standard, and on the basis of the observations of the alpha particle scattering experiment, Rutherford have been trying to describe the actual structure of atom. He has given some important points regarding the structure of atom. He has said that the atom is having two parts. The first part, that is the central region, and that central region was named as the nucleus of the atom. Rutherford have been described that this central region of the atom consists of the positively charged particles in it. Means the positive charge of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus of the atom. And according to Rutherford's atomic model, we know that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. The negatively charged electrons are revolving in circular orbit around the nucleus. So, the second region of the atom is named as the extranuclear region. So, according to Rutherford, the nucleus is positively charged while the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits. Again, Rutherford have been said that the number of positive charges present in the nucleus is equal to the number of protons present in it. We know that the atom consists of protons, which are only the positively charged particles. So, the nucleus is having the charge, positive charge, which is equal to the number of protons, and that positive charge is given as plus Ze. This is the positive charge present in the nucleus. Again, around the nucleus, the electrons are revolving. We know that the number of electrons around the nucleus is exactly equal to the number of protons present in the nucleus, and therefore the charge in the extranuclear region is given as minus ZE. So students, you know this basic part or basic structure of the atom. Again, nowadays we know that the nucleus consists of the neutrons along with protons in it. Okay. So this is the little information which was given by scientist Rutherford in his atomic model. But here this atomic model is again not correct because so many drawbacks are there. We will see the drawbacks of that Rutherford's atomic model later on. So the major developments have been again done by different scientists to describe the actual or correct structure of atom. So in this chapter we will study that major developments which are leading to the present day atomic structure. But before that we will study the two important concepts, that is the concept of atomic number and the atomic mass number. So let's see first the concept of atomic number. What is meant by atomic number? The atomic number is denoted by symbol Z. We know that in the atom the protons are present in the nucleus while electrons are revolving around it. Every atom of the element is having a fixed number of protons, means it is having a fixed number of positive charges. For example, if you take the nucleus of hydrogen, then it will carry only one positive charge. But if you take the nucleus of carbon atom, then it will carry 6 positive charges in it. While if you take the nucleus of uranium atom, then it will carry the 92 protons in it. In this manner, different kinds of atom will have different number of positive charges present in them. And on the basis of number of these positive charges in the atom, we can find the name of that atom of the element. So, the number of positive charges present in the atom is the most fundamental property of atom. And we know that the number of positive charges are nothing but the protons, number of protons. So these number of protons give the identity to that atom. जर इथं आपण म्हटलं की एखाद्या न्यूक्लियसमध्ये 7 प्रोटॉन आहेत, तर तो न्यूक्लियस कोणत्या ॲटमचा आहे हे आपण इझिली सांगू शकतो. इट इज ऑफ नायट्रोजन ॲटम. म्हणजे कोणत्याही ॲटमची आयडेंटिटी ही कुणावरून ठरवली जाते, तर त्या ॲटमच्या न्यूक्लियसमध्ये असणाऱ्या प्रोटॉनच्या संख्येवरून. सो दिस नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स इन द न्यूक्लियस ऑफ ॲन ॲटम is named as the atomic number for that atom. Are you getting? The number of positive charges, that is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom, is named as the atomic number. Here again in the Rutherford's atomic model, we have seen that the number of protons present in the nucleus is exactly equal to the number of electrons which are revolving around the nucleus. Every atom possesses equal number of protons and equal number of negatively charged electrons, and therefore we can also define the atomic number as the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom or the number of electrons revolving around the nucleus of an atom is called as atomic number. Here this atomic number is denoted by symbol Z. Remember well. Now next see the next term, that is the mass number or atomic mass number. This atomic mass number is denoted by symbol capital A. The mass of an atom is given in terms of atomic mass number. Now how the mass of atom is determined? We know that the atom consists of 3 subatomic particles, that is protons, neutrons and electrons. So the whole mass of atom will be the summation of masses of all these particles present in the atom. So the mass of atom will be equal to mass of protons, mass of electrons and mass of neutrons present in it. But here we know that the electrons are having very low mass. We can say that their mass is negligible. We have seen in that chart that is mass of electron is 0. While the mass of proton was considered as one unified mass, while the mass of neutron was considered as one unified mass. So what will be the total mass of atom? If the atom consists of only one proton and one neutron, then we will say that the mass of atom will be 2. Actually, the sum of masses of electrons, protons and neutrons is the actual mass of atom. But since the mass of electron is negligible, here the atomic mass number is given as the mass of protons, the summation of masses of all the protons present in it, and the mass of neutrons. Now every proton is having only one unified mass, and also each neutron is having one unified mass. And we know that in the atom Z number of protons are present, and therefore here we can say that the atomic mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons present in it. Now these number of protons are nothing but the atomic number of that atom, and that is denoted by symbol Z, while the number of neutrons are denoted by symbol N. And that's why we obtain this simple relation to calculate the atomic mass number, that is A is equal to Z plus N. So if you know the value of Z and the value of N, then you can easily find the value of A. So on the basis of these two important properties, concepts, here any atom can be represented easily. Now let's see that representation of that atom. Here, if the atom of element X is denoted as like this, X is the atom of one of the element, then its atomic number is given as a subscript on the left hand side. Here you have to indicate the atomic number, while its mass number is given as a superscript on left hand side. So in this manner you can represent any atom. For example, take sodium atom. The atomic number of sodium is 11. So we write the number 11 as a subscript, while its mass number is 23. So we write its mass here. Fluorine, atomic number is 9, mass number is 19. Similarly, carbon, atomic number is 6, mass number is 12. In this way, you can easily represent the symbol for any atom. Now, the atom having such unique composition is named as nuclide. So this is a sodium nuclide, this one is a fluorine nuclide, this one is the carbon nuclide. Such unique composition of the atom is given as, or it is specified, which is specified by using this representation, that is called as the nuclide. If you know the atomic number of that element and the mass number of that element, then you can find the number of neutrons present in it. How they are determined? Very easy. We know that the atomic number is nothing but the sum of number of protons plus number of neutrons, and therefore number of neutrons n is equal to atomic mass number A minus J. That is its atomic number. So with the help of this formula, you can easily determine the number of neutrons present in any atom. So now let's see some of the examples which are used to calculate the number of neutrons. I will take here the example of sodium. How many neutrons are present in it? We know this relation, A is equal to Z plus N. With the help of this, you have seen N is equal to A minus Z. Here A is the mass number 23 minus Z, that is atomic number 11. So the number of neutrons present in the nucleus of sodium atom is 12. Similarly, here you can find the number of neutrons present in fluorine is 19 minus 9, that is 10, where the number of neutrons present in carbon is 12 minus 6, that is 6. Now suppose you have given the number of protons and neutrons present in any atom. For example, suppose Q is the atom which possesses the number of protons in it as 10, while the number of neutrons present in it as 11, then you can find its mass number. Very easy. A is equal to Z plus N, that is 10 plus 11, that is equal to 21. So with the help of this simple formula, N is equal to A minus Z or A is equal to N plus Z, you can easily count the number of protons, electrons and the neutrons present in it. Also you can calculate the mass number of that atom. Now see here how many electrons are present in sodium. Obviously the sodium will possess 11 electrons because the atomic number of that element indicates the number of protons present in it as well as the number of electrons present in it. Similarly here fluorine. Fluorine is having 9 electrons and 9 protons while 10 neutrons. So in this way you have to see the simple examples which are based on the basis of this simple formula to find the number of protons, neutrons and electrons and also the mass number. Okay, I think you may have understood the basic part of this chapter. Now in the next lecture we will see the important concepts of the atoms, that is isotopes, isobars and isotones. Okay, thank you.